My name is Haley, and I found out my sister had been using my kid's name like a spare credit card, except the balance was $860,000 meant for college. She called it planning. The bank called it something else. I had one morning to stop it before it became permanent. If you've lived through something like this, share your experience in the comments. At noon in our Charlotte office, my screen was filled with a fraud case that wasn't even mine anymore. Someone else's debit card, someone else's mess. The phone kept buzzing anyway. Daycare, unknown number. Daycare again. I answered daycare first. Hi, this is Evan's mom. Ms. Grant, someone called asking to confirm guardian information for Evan. Who called? The teacher hesitated, then read her note. Kendra Grant. She also asked where we send banking mail. My pen stopped. Do not give anyone an address. Only what's on file. Okay, she said. We didn't, but it felt official. I hung up and tapped the unknown number next. A recorded menu started talking, then dropped me into voicemail. I deleted it because my calendar was already yelling, and my boss loves efficiency more than breathing. That evening, pasta boiled, Evan negotiated with a dinosaur toy, and I rinsed sauce off my hands. Turning around, my sister was standing in my kitchen like she'd always had a lease. Surprise, Kendra said. How did you get in? Mom still has a key. Relax. She set a thick binder on my table and slid a canvas bag of papers beside it. The binder landed like an award. I opened an account for Evan, and I pulled together $860,000 for his college. Don't make this a thing. This is planning. Questions came out before anything else could. What account? Whose name is it under? Do I have a login? Kendra waved one manicured hand. You're busy. I made it simple. You just need to say thank you. The binder opened to a tab labeled EG/custodial. In the corner, a fresh stamp. Notary Public, Mecklenburg County, dated last month. I hadn't set foot in a notary office last month. Why is this notarized? Because I'm thorough. Another page had language I didn't like, the kind that makes money stop being money and start being leverage. Kendra leaned close. I had to use it to optimize. She stopped, then tried again. I mean, make it grow faster. You used what? You don't understand finance, Haley. She dropped an envelope in front of me. Friday, 9 a.m. We need to update paperwork. I booked the appointment. The envelope looked heavier than it should have. Did you just appoint yourself CFO of my kid? If you want to call it that. My phone lit up with a voicemail notification from the number I'd deleted. I played it. Regarding the collateral for the loan, and the account holder is a minor, the message cut off. Voicemail limit. My laptop came open. Fingers reached for the keyboard. Kendra's hand shot out and pressed it down. No need. I handled it. Keys, binder, envelope, everything went into my arms in one sweep. My thumb hit redial as I headed for the door. I'm going to hear them say it. The line rang once. Twice. Thank you for calling, a woman answered, and I kept walking toward the stairs, binder held tight. The next morning, Evan was balanced on my hip in the daycare parking lot while I tried to sign him in with one hand and keep my phone from sliding off the clipboard with the other. Notifications kept stacking like somebody had decided I didn't deserve a normal Tuesday. Family group chat first. My mom. Kendra's just trying to do something good for her nephew. Then my dad. Don't turn this into a fight. A cousin reacted with a thumbs up to my mom's message and added, don't make it weird. Kendra followed with a screenshot of an account balance. The important parts circled, the identifying parts blurred, like she was protecting national security. Under it, she typed, see, I told you. You're welcome. At the door, the teacher smiled the way people do when they want you to be calm so their morning stays calm. Everything's fine, she said. We updated nothing. Evan's all set. Thanks, I said, and handed over his backpack. The zipper caught, and he tugged it free with the confidence of someone who's never had to call a bank in a panic. On the walk back to the car, another message came in, this time directly from Kendra. Please don't embarrass me with the bank. Friday at 9 o'clock, you just show up and sign the acknowledgement. Done. No question mark, not a request, a calendar invite disguised as a favor. Work didn't feel safer. The binder sat on the passenger seat like it needed its own seatbelt. At my desk, I pulled up my case queue and tried to pretend other people's fraud was the only fraud in my life. That lasted until my supervisor, Greg, leaned over my cubicle wall. "Haley, quick thing," he said. "Don't use internal contacts for personal matters. Conflict of interest." "I'm not using internal contacts," I said. Greg nodded like he'd already filed me under problem employee. "Just keep it clean." A coworker 2 desks over gave me that look people give when someone else's drama might splash on them. Nobody asked if I was okay. That would have required choosing a side. At lunch, I escaped to the pantry with a sad yogurt and the binder. The notary stamp still looked new. The tab still read EG/custodial. There was still no page that said, in plain English, why my sister had access to anything tied to my kid. My phone buzzed again, a voice note from Kendra. Her tone was calm, almost soothing, like she was leaving instructions for watering plants. "Haley's been stressed since the baby years," she said, like Evan was still a baby. "She's overwhelmed. I already put together a full college plan for Evan, so nobody needs to worry." Nobody needs to worry, except the person raising him. The yogurt went back in the fridge untouched. Feet carried me down the hall to the coffee shop in our lobby, because sitting at my desk felt like agreeing with everyone. Marisol Reyes was there, stirring sugar into her coffee with the focus of someone preparing for trial. She glanced up. "You look like you slept in a spreadsheet." "I didn't sleep," I said. "My sister opened an account for my kid. She says it's got $860 in it." Marisol didn't blink. "Do you have paperwork?" "Some." "Do you have a deadline?" "Friday, 9 a.m. "Who has signing authority?" "My sister," I said, and hated how simple it sounded. Marisol took the binder, flipped to the notary stamp, then slid it back like it might bite. She called this planning? That was her word. "Planning usually comes with signatures and stamps," Marisol said. "Congrats, she provided both. Start there." Back at my desk, the bank's general number stared at me from my call log. I dialed, kept my voice flat, and asked for the smallest thing possible. "Hi," I said. "I just need to confirm whether there's any kind of restriction or pledge attached to an account held by a minor. I'm not asking for details." The representative put me on hold long enough for my email to refresh twice. She came back. "Ma'am, that account shows a collateral encumbrance." No explanation, no sympathy, just a phrase that turned my stomach into a fist. "Is that normal for a child's account?" I asked. "It's not typical," she said, and stopped there, like going further would cost her a bonus. An appointment email arrived 10 minutes later, forwarded from Kendra's address to mine. Friday, 9 a.m., account review/documentation update. I opened my notes app and typed one word: timeline. Then I started listing dates, names, and exact phrases without adding feelings. When my thumb hovered over Marisol's contact, the phone was already ringing before I finished the sentence. "Marisol," I said, "tell me exactly what documents I need to request tonight." Marisol didn't ask why I needed the list tonight. "Email the fraud unit and ask for written confirmation of any lien or pledge. Get the account number from that binder. Do not argue with your sister. Collect." "Got it," I said, already walking to my car. "Haley," she added, "whoever has custodial authority gets the alerts." "Then I'll be fast." My parents' house sat 20 minutes away, close enough for everyone to drop by unannounced, far enough to pretend boundaries existed. Evan ate chicken nuggets at the table while my mom kept offering me more food, like carbs could solve legal problems. Kendra arrived late, smiling like she'd brought dessert. She didn't. She brought confidence. "Look at him," she said, kissing Evan's head. "Hey," I replied and slid my phone under my thigh. Dinner turned into a vote without anyone calling it that. "Your sister's been working so hard," my dad said. "She's trying to help," my mom added. Kendra sipped water and let them speak for her. The binder sat on the sideboard. Kendra stood up when her phone rang and walked onto the back porch. The moment the door shut, my hand moved. Pages flipped. Tabs flashed past. I found one sheet with a bold line that didn't belong anywhere near a child's name. Pledge/collateral. Beneath it sat a reference number and, lower down, one sentence that hit harder than the voicemail. Custodian, Kendra Grant. The phone came up, camera open. Click. Another angle. Click. The porch door opened before the screen dimmed. Kendra froze. "Are you going through my things?" "It's my son's account." Her face rearranged into hurt. "Wow, you're really doing this. After everything I did for Evan." She turned to my parents. "I'm trying to protect his future, and she's treating me like a criminal." My mom looked at me like I'd slapped somebody. "Haley, why would you snoop?" "I'm not snooping," I said. "I'm verifying." Kendra stepped closer, voice dropping. "If you stir this up, the bank freezes the account. Who suffers? Evan. You want to break your own kid's college fund? Go ahead. Tell them whatever story makes you feel better." She backed up and smiled again, softer this time, like she'd offered a life lesson. My dad cleared his throat. "Maybe just go to the appointment Friday," he said. "Let Kendra handle it." My fork went down. Evan slid from his chair and ran to the living room. A plastic truck hit the wall. Nobody noticed. "I'm leaving," I said. Keys were in my hand before anyone responded. Kendra followed me to the driveway. "Don't be dramatic," she called. "Please don't embarrass me," she added, and the second sentence came out sharper. The bank lobby was still open. A receptionist looked up as I approached with the binder hugged to my chest. "How can we help you today?" "I need to freeze access to an account tied to my minor child." Her smile stayed, but her posture tightened. "Relationship to the account holder?" "Mother," I said, and apparently not the CEO. She blinked once, then typed. A manager came out, polite and cautious. "Ms. Grant, I can't make changes unless you're the custodian on file." "I'm telling you the custodian is abusing access." "Then we can document your concern and open a review." "Open it," I said. He took down my name, Evan's name, my contact number, the phrase minor, and asked if I'd be willing to submit anything in writing. The binder pages stayed closed. Letting them see my photos felt like stepping onto thin ice without boots. "Friday at 9, he said, as if that explained everything. "Friday at 9 is why I'm here," I answered. Paperwork printed. A reference number slid across the counter. My phone buzzed the second I stepped back outside. Account flagged. Review initiated. In the car, hands stayed on the steering wheel while the screen lit up again. "Did you just call the bank?" A second message followed. System generated, as cheerful as a receipt. Notification sent to authorized custodian. My mouth went dry. The review I asked for had just warned her. Kendra kept calling until the screen went dark. The next ring came through before I'd even backed out of the bank lot. Her name flashed again. Decline. Again. Decline. By the time I got home, the calls had turned into texts. "Answer me. Stop making scenes. Do you want Evan to lose everything because you're upset?" I set the binder on the counter, unplugged my phone to let it charge, and checked Evan's daycare app for the pickup code, like that was a normal thing to do at midnight. Morning hit like a deadline. Evan's shoes were in the wrong place, my work badge wasn't on the hook, and the printer at home chose that moment to jam when I tried to print the bank reference number. I grabbed his backpack, shoved the binder into my tote, and drove with one hand on the wheel and the other refreshing my inbox at red lights. At daycare, the director met me at the door instead of the classroom. "Can we talk for a second? Is Evan okay?" "He's fine. This is about your pickup list." She handed me a crisp sheet of paper, the kind you'd expect from a doctor's office. It had Evan's name at the top, my information typed neatly, and a new contact added at the bottom, Kendra Grant. "Someone dropped this off this morning," the director said. "They said it was an update and that you approved it." "That's not my signature," I said. "They also called yesterday asking about banking mail," she replied, watching my face. I recognized the name. A pen appeared in her hand. "If you want, we can add a password, and we can flag his account so no changes happen without you present." "Do it," I said. "Today," she confirmed. "Now," I corrected. Evan tugged my sleeve, impatient to get to the blocks. I kissed his forehead and left him with a teacher who suddenly looked like security. In the parking lot, an email from the bank landed with the subject line in bland corporate font. "Due to ongoing review, access to certain information is restricted." It didn't say my name was blocked. It didn't need to. I tried the login link Kendra had tossed at me like a courtesy. The portal asked for a security question I'd never set. 3 wrong guesses and it locked me out, polite as a hotel safe. Another email followed right after. "We have detected unusual activity and have notified the authorized custodian." My stomach tightened as if the system had just dialed her for me. At my desk, Greg forwarded a note from HR about maintaining professionalism and suggested I take a personal day if I was distracted. In the break room, 2 coworkers lowered their voices the second I walked in. Someone had heard "family issue" and filled in the blanks. My phone wouldn't stop. An aunt left a voicemail. "Your mother is crying. Call your sister and apologize." A second voicemail, my mom again, shorter. "Please stop. People are talking." Kendra sent another voice note, smooth as a customer service greeting. "She's spiraling," she said, loud enough for anyone nearby to hear if my volume was up. "If she shows up at the bank again, tell them I'm the custodian." Then the calendar reminder for Friday 9 o'clock popped up, cheerful, like it was a dentist cleaning. Before leaving work, I called daycare to make sure the password was in place. The director read it back, then told me Kendra had called again, asking whether the update went through. Hearing that, my hands started shaking, so I put the phone on speaker and wrote every word down right then. My mom called the second I started the car. "Haley, what are you doing?" "I'm handling it." "Kendra says you're harassing the bank." "I asked for a review." "She said you're unstable. She said you're scaring people." The words sat there like a label someone could stick on my file. My dad got on the line. "Your sister is trying to help. You're making it worse." "She put her name on my kid's pickup list," I said. Silence. "Maybe she thought you needed support," he finally offered. A message from Kendra came through while my parents were still talking. "I'm protecting Evan from your impulsive decisions. If you keep this up, I'll talk to the family attorney. You don't want this on record." The phrase "on record" landed harder than any insult. At lunch, Marisol met me outside the office building where employees smoked under a no-smoking sign. She didn't sit. She didn't soften her voice. "This isn't a sister fight," she said. "Then what is it?" "Minor identity misuse and asset control." "She hasn't taken him." "Not yet," Marisol replied. "She's moving the pieces so she can." She held out her phone with a checklist. "File an official report, not a complaint, a report. Request a freeze in writing. Use the words minor and unauthorized. Get counsel, today." A new text buzzed from Kendra, like she'd been waiting for the moment someone used the word counsel. "You took pictures of my paperwork at Mom's, didn't you?" "Delete them." "I have the originals. You don't. Think about that." My grip tightened on my car keys. Marisol watched me read. "She knows," Marisol said. "She's already adjusting the story," I answered. That afternoon, the bank's call center put me on hold and came back with a script. "Ms. Grant, we can't discuss account details unless you are the custodian on file." "I'm the child's parent." "I understand. The custodian on file is the authorized party." Authorized. Like that made it moral. The old plan, the one where showing up Friday and forcing a conversation would fix this, evaporated. A meeting was her territory. Paper was her weapon. I needed a door she couldn't close. The police station lobby smelled like copier toner and tired coffee. At the intake window, a woman slid a form toward me. "Identity theft?" she asked. "Minor," I said. Plastic pen scratched across the form until the officer behind the glass slid it back with a case number stamped at the top. "Keep this for the bank," she said, "and don't let anyone talk you out of it." Outside, my phone lit up again, but I didn't pick up. I drove straight to daycare, signed Evan out with the new password, and went home. He chattered about finger paint while I kept one hand on the steering wheel and the other on the folder of papers like it might disappear. After dinner and a bath, he fell asleep fast, thumb tucked under his cheek, unaware that his name was floating around in someone else's loan paperwork. The kitchen table turned into a workbench. My handwritten timeline, the bank reference number, the daycare form, and the 2 photos I'd snapped before Kendra caught me. I stacked everything by date, not because it felt good, but because dates don't argue back. 3 moments kept showing up no matter how I reordered the pages. First, Kendra's habit of keeping the paperwork for everyone, like the family's personal filing cabinet with a key only she carried. Second, that Friday 9 a.m. appointment she spoke of the way bosses talk about mandatory trainings. Third, her favorite trap. "Do you want to ruin Evan's future?" said with the confidence of someone holding the only parachute. She'd used it for years, and I'd always stepped back, not wanting to be difficult, not wanting my parents to sigh and say I was overreacting. Sitting there, looking at Evan's name on a form that didn't ask for my permission, it finally clicked that my mistake wasn't trusting my sister. My mistake was letting her be the loudest person in every room and calling that peace. A text came in from Marisol, short and blunt, like she'd typed it with her thumbs while walking. "Before you swing back, you need 3 things. Notary receipt with the signer and date, written confirmation from the bank that a minor's account was pledged, police report number so they have to escalate." My reply was 1 word: okay. Then I opened my laptop and wrote an email the way I write reports at work, plain, neutral, and impossible to misread. Subject line: minor identity misuse, request for immediate freeze and review. In the body, I listed the case number, the daycare attempt to change pickup authorization, the notary stamp, and the bank rep's phrase about collateral encumbrance. No adjectives, no accusations, just requests. Confirm in writing, restrict access, preserve records. When the cursor blinked at the end, I booked the earliest consult I could find with a local attorney who handled identity theft and guardianship issues. The confirmation email landed with a time for the next morning, and I forwarded it to Marisol without commentary. My family chat pinged again, a string of messages from people who weren't going to sit in my kids' financial mess with me. I turned off notifications, then blocked Kendra's number for the first time in my life. The table looked less like chaos and more like a file, which was the point. My finger hovered over send. I clicked it. Message sent. The phone rang immediately, Mom's name across the screen, and I let it ring twice before setting it face down. Mom left a voicemail, then another, each one shorter. Dad followed with a text. "Please come tomorrow. We'll talk." A minute later, an unknown number tried again. I didn't answer. The bank's automated reply popped into my inbox. "We have received your request and will respond within 2 business days." 2 business days felt like a prank. I walked to Evan's room and watched his chest rise and fall, then returned to the table and circled Friday, 9 o'clock in red. The police report copy went on top, not underneath. A sticky note went on the binder. Ask for custodial change procedure. Another note went on my phone. Do not discuss by phone. If she wanted a fight, she could have it in writing with dates attached. Coat off the hook, keys in my pocket, police report copy in the binder. My hand was on the doorknob. The elevator smelled like bleach and someone's takeout. Coat half on, tote heavy with the binder, I rode down with my phone buzzing against the fabric. Mom had called 3 more times. The screen stayed dark. At the bank's main building, the lobby guard checked my ID, then pointed me toward a glass conference room labeled Compliance. A woman in a navy blazer met me at the door. "Haley Grant?" "Yes." "I'm Dana Collins. Please have a seat." 2 more people sat at the table with laptops open. No coffee, no small talk. Dana slid a privacy notice toward me like it was a menu. "Before we begin," she said, "we have limits on what we can disclose. You are not the custodian on file." "I understand," I said. "My child is 4. That's the problem." Dana didn't react. She typed, clicked, then looked up. We received your written request and your police report number. That triggered an escalated review. Good. Also, she added, a review is not a determination. It is a process. She asked for my timeline. I handed it over, stapled tight. She read dates without expression, pausing at the daycare attempt and the notary stamp. Your sister presented notarized documents naming herself as custodian, Dana said. She had no right. Right is not my department, Dana replied. Authority is. One of the laptop people, a man with a thin tie, spoke for the first time. The account for Evan Grant has an active pledge recorded against it. Pledge for what? I can't discuss the related obligation, he said, already closing that door. Dana turned her screen slightly so I could see headings, not numbers. A column showed events, another showed alerts, another showed renewals. Friday at 9, she said, tapping the date, was scheduled as a documentation renewal. Renewal of what? A secured arrangement, she answered, careful. The bank requires periodic verification to maintain it. My throat tightened. That appointment wasn't for my kid's future. It was to keep something from collapsing. Dana scrolled again. Another file name flashed, then another. She stopped before I could focus on details. I'm going to say this once, she said. We have identified patterns, similar documentation, similar notarization, similar custodial structures. With other families? With other minors, she corrected. I'm not authorized to name them. The tie guy added, minors are attractive for this kind of pledge. Clean identity, no prior credit activity, fewer questions until someone asks them. I pressed my fingertips together to keep them steady. So she used my son because he's convenient. Dana didn't deny it. The appearance is that the funds were positioned as a clean asset. My phone vibrated on the table. A new email from an attorney's office. Subject line bold. Cease and desist. I didn't open it yet, but the preview told me enough. Dana noticed anyway. Your sister has retained counsel, she said. We received communication this morning alleging harassment of bank employees. Harassment, I repeated, for reporting identity misuse. It's a tactic, she replied, not unkind, not warm. Outside the meeting, my parents flooded my texts. Please stop. They'll investigate the whole family. Your sister is terrified. Why are you doing this to us? Another message came from my aunt, who told me to apologize yesterday. Kendra said you misunderstood. Don't ruin her life over paperwork. I left the messages unread and walked across the lobby to a small notary office in the same building, because Marisol's list had 3 boxes, and I wanted one checked. The notary on duty looked at the stamp number I'd copied and shrugged. If the signer presented ID and signed, we notarize, she said. So you don't verify intent? We verify identity, she answered, already reaching for the next client. Back upstairs, Dana called me back in. She placed a single-page memo in front of me. No logos, just formal language. Her finger landed on one sentence. Indicators consistent with minor identity misuse. Before I could touch the paper, my phone lit up with a text from Kendra. You pulled the bank into this? Fine. Now I'm pulling a lawyer into it. I looked up. Dana watched me, pen poised above the memo. The guy cleared his throat. My thumb hovered over reply as she waited. The attorney's office smelled like copier toner and hand sanitizer. A receptionist slid a clipboard toward me, then glanced at the binder on my lap like it might start talking. Reason for visit, she asked. Minor identity misuse, I said, and a family member who thinks paperwork is a personality. Attorney Patel came out a few minutes later, sleeves rolled up, hair clipped back, eyes already scanning the folder. Haley Grant? Yes. Walk me through what you have, not what you feel, what you have. So I laid it out in order on her desk. The timeline, the daycare form, the police report number, the notary stamp photo, the bank's reference number, and Dana Collins's memo with the one sentence that mattered. Attorney Patel didn't react. She just made piles. Good, she said finally. We're not debating morality, we're forcing process. What does that look like? It looks like you requesting a freeze and custodial review in writing with a witness trail. My sister hired a lawyer. That's fine, Patel said. Lawyers love paper. Let's give them some. She typed for 10 minutes, printed 2 pages, then slid them to me. Read the highlighted parts out loud. I did. Request immediate restriction of custodian access pending investigation. Request initiation of custodial change procedure in the best interest of the minor. Patel nodded. Now we need a room where your sister can't pretend you're making this up. By late afternoon, we were back at the bank's main building. Dana met us at the lobby and led us into a conference room with a speakerphone in the middle. Kendra was already there with a man in a gray suit and a leather portfolio that screamed billable hours. Kendra's smile didn't reach her eyes. "Haley," she said. "Hi," I replied. The gray suit lawyer stood halfway, as if posture could win a case. "Daniel Harkins, representing Ms. Grant," he said. "Attorney Patel," Patel answered, representing the child's parent. Dana sat at the head of the table and opened a folder. "This is an administrative review meeting," she said. "Keep remarks factual." Kendra leaned back. "Of course. Facts. I'm the custodian. I've managed everything. Haley is upset because she doesn't like not being in control." Patel didn't look at her. "Haley," she said, "place the file on the table." So I did. No speeches, no bargaining. The binder landed between us with a soft thud. Kendra's eyes flicked to it. "She's retaliating," Kendra said, switching to wounded. "I did something generous, and now she wants to punish me." Dana turned to me. "Do you have documentation supporting your report?" I slid Dana's memo forward first. "Indicators consistent with minor identity misuse," I said. Kendra gave a small laugh, like she was correcting a child. "Indicators doesn't mean I did anything." Patel's hand moved next. She placed the daycare form down, then the police report number, then the notary stamp image with the date circled. Dana's face stayed flat. The gray suit lawyer's jaw tightened. Kendra pointed at the memo. "This is all because she's paranoid. Freezing it would hurt Evan. That money is his opportunity." Dana didn't answer her. She opened her folder and pulled out a bank document stamped with internal codes. "Ms. Grant," Dana said, looking at Kendra now, "this account is recorded as pledged collateral. The pledge reference matches an obligation associated with documentation you submitted." Kendra's smile faltered for one beat. Daniel Harkins jumped in. "My client denies wrongdoing. She acted in the minor's best interest." Dana slid a second sheet forward, this one showing a log summary with names redacted except one. "Custodian, Kendra Grant." Dana tapped a line. "Access and authorization activity originates from the custodian profile on file." Kendra's fingers tightened around her pen. "It's planning," she said louder. "That's all it is." The sentence came out like a spell she expected everyone to obey. My voice stayed even. Then put planning on the line that says purpose of collateral and see if compliance laughs. Dana didn't smile, but her tone shifted colder. "Ma'am, that is not a college plan. That is a lien." Silence hit the table. Even Daniel paused, eyes darting to the paperwork like it had rearranged itself. Dana folded her hands. "Effective immediately, custodian access will be restricted pending investigation. The account will be frozen for changes. This matter will be referred for formal review." Kendra pushed her chair back hard. "You can't do that. Give me that binder." She reached across the table. Dana covered the binder with her palm, steady. "This is now part of an active investigation," Dana said. "You will not remove documents." Kendra stood up, breath sharp, and Daniel started to rise with her, already forming words. Attorney Patel nudged a form toward me. "Sign here," she said. "Request to initiate custodial change." The pen felt heavier than it should have. I pulled the chair in, leaned over the page, and put my name on the line as Kendra's voice climbed behind me. The ink was still wet when her hand slapped the table. 3 weeks later, a plain white envelope waited in my mailbox with the bank's return address. I carried it upstairs, fed Evan a snack, and didn't open it until he was building a tower on the rug. The letter inside was short and cold. The pledge had been released, the account was protected, and the investigation remained active. One line mattered most. Kendra Grant. Access removed. At the branch, a teller named Simone led me to a desk and asked for my ID twice, like she was apologizing for the world. Dana wasn't there. This was routine now, which somehow felt stranger. Simone slid a form toward me. Reason for change, she said. New custodian, I said. Me. Simone nodded. Okay, we'll open a new 529 under your control and move whatever the investigation allows. I handed her the police report copy and the memo. She didn't read them long, just enough to understand she shouldn't make eye contact, like this was gossip. Security questions, she said. Pick ones Kendra can't guess. I chose answers that weren't tied to family stories, old pets, or my mother's favorite holiday. Simone typed, then offered a new debit card for the account's linked savings. I'm switching from planning to parenting, I said. Simone's mouth twitched once, then she stamped the last page. There, she said. That night, my mom texted. Kendra stopped by. Your dad told her to leave. I didn't answer right away. 10 minutes later, Mom sent another message. He said we're not discussing Evan with her anymore. A week earlier, that sentence would have started an argument about respect. Now, it was just a boundary with a doormat in front of it. On Saturday, I ran into Kendra in the grocery store parking lot. She wasn't carrying bags. She was leaning on her car, phone pressed to her ear, voice sharp. I told you I can't pay it all at once, she snapped to whoever was listening. They froze me. She noticed me, ended the call, and tried to smile like we were meeting for brunch. Are you happy now? She asked. You ruined my life over paperwork. I kept my cart moving. You tried to put your name on my kid's pickup list, I said. Kendra's face hardened. That was support. That was control, I said, and walked past her toward the automatic doors. At home, I emailed Attorney Patel and asked her to route every message through her office. Then I forwarded the daycare password update to the director with one more request. If anyone tries to change his pickup list again, I wrote, call me first, not the contact on the form. The next day, Simone called to confirm the new account number and told me the old one would stay restricted until compliance finished. I thanked her, hung up, and spent my lunch break setting up a credit freeze for Evan. Then I updated the security questions on my own accounts, changed my mailing address on every statement, and set a PIN with the daycare. The same afternoon, a lawyer's assistant emailed a guardianship packet. My mom asked to meet for coffee. She showed up alone and kept her hands wrapped around the cup like she needed permission to speak. Is there any way you can talk to her? She said. Not without lawyers, I replied. Mom swallowed. She says you'll regret this. I regret letting her near my paperwork, I said. That evening, I bought a plastic file box with a snap latch and a pack of label stickers. One sticker went on the front in block letters, Evan, college plan, actual. The other sticker went on the back, do not hand to family. I opened my contacts, found Kendra under family, and removed her from ICE. The phone asked if I was sure. I hit yes. Attorney Patel kept the original binder for the record. I kept the single-page letter that said access removed. It slid into the box on top, like a receipt for survival. The latch snapped. The box went onto the highest kitchen shelf. My hand reached for the light switch as the front door clicked shut, and I didn't turn back.